Every now and again in commercial fishing or natural fishing, you can be faced with a snaggy peg. It can be lilies, roots, reeds, anything, and you need specialist kit to fish them effectively. I've been sent today to Cross Drove Fishery to check out the new Torque Euro Carp and see just how much abuse it can take. I've got the 10.5 metre version here with a dolly butt as well. And as you'll see, we're fishing a horrendously snaggy swim, catching some big fish, and it hasn't put a foot wrong. We're pulling very, very hard, and I'm physically pulling as hard as I can, and it's just dragging carp out that most poles would be in about 1 million bits by now. It's light, it's stiff, very responsive, and yet it is unbelievably strong. Fishing obviously with heavy line, heavy elastics as well. We'll have a chat about those later, but it's quite good fun. You just know it's not going to break. Let's have a look at the pole in a bit more detail. It's two versions, a 9 metre and a 10.5 metre version, which is the one I'm using today. Each comes with a striker section, which is reversible, so it will fit the bottom two sections of the pole. That is solid as a rock, it's incredible. This is the 10.5 metre version. As I say, you've got your top two, your top kits, and then another 4 sections to bring it up to 10.5 metres. It's rated to 20 plus elastic, which basically means use any elastic you want. I don't think there's an elastic that you could put in it that it wouldn't cope with. Super smooth finish, so a lot of times fishing in snags like this, you've really got to hit and ship back as quick as you can, and the finish on this, even in the wet, allows you to do that. Today I've used the heaviest of our 3 new sizes of slick, the 20 to 22. I've got that set quite tight today because this peg is very extreme, and like I say, it's just coped with it easily. I'm basically lifting 6-7 pound carp out of reeds, shipping back as quick as I can onto the top kit, which itself is solid as a rock. It's never been in danger. Let's have a chat now about how I'm actually approaching the peg. We've discussed the snags and the lilies and the reeds, and what I'm doing is I've got 2 swims on the go, left and right. About 1 metre or so away, on this side it's lilies and on the other side it's reeds. The reason I'm doing that is if you can catch slightly away from the snags, it obviously just gives you that better chance of getting the fish away from them and landing them. If we weren't catching, which fortunately today we are, then you can always go closer and closer and even into the snags, which will increase your chance of getting fish, but obviously increases the chance of them snagging you up. So being able to just have that little bit of a head start on them will always help. It still doesn't take long for them to get in there, so this style of fishing is quite exciting because you know all hell's going to break loose as soon as you hook one. So hopefully I will hook one and talk you through it, but it's very short and sweet because the idea is to ship back, but sometimes if they do get in the snags, you then need to ship back out and put your pole high to get them out, so you've got a very short period of time to plan and think how to do it correctly. But hopefully you'll see that when I hook one. Right, here we go. As you can see, I've hooked one. It's gone for the reed, so I'm pulling low. We've got it out of those ones. It's going to go back in there. This is going to be a pull and pull and pull one. Again, strong line, strong pole, strong elastic. Big fish. As you can see what I mean about the excitement of it. Right, we've got it through the lilies, through the reeds, onto the puller kit, and into the net. Awesome fun. So we've discussed the strength of the pole, the snaggy nature of the peg, so the business end of our rig needs to be strong and reliable. We've mentioned the elastic, the 20 to 22 slick, connected with one of our new Dacron connectors, again strong and reliable, won't let you down. Float wise, a strong and reliable and simple float, a Series 1 Matrix. Main line is 0234 power micron. It is what it says it is. It's incredibly accurate statement on the spool because that is the diameter that it is. That breaks at 9.5 pound. Given the little bit of stretch it's got, it would actually break at more than that. Going down the rig, as I say, 0.2 of a gram float. It's only 2 foot deep out there, so that's more than heavy enough. I've got a small bulk of 2 number 10 shot, another number 10 shot just above the loop-to-loop hook length. The hook length is 020 power micron down to a 14 carp bagger hook. Everything strong, everything reliable. I like to still use a hook length because if worst case happens and a fish does take us in the reeds, which fortunately today it hasn't, that just creates a slightly weaker point that if we need to pull by hand, it should break there and solve any other problems. So like I say, everything strong and reliable. Got one of our big bore soft toss pots. I'm big potting and kinder potting today. Again, strong, reliable, won't fall off. So that's it. Bait wise, for a session like this, I like to keep things simple. Today I've opted for micro pellets and corn. So I've just got standard off the shelf corn and some 2mm micro pellets. I could have gone down the ground bait option, but for me, corn is my go-to bait really. Whether I feed it with micro pellets or ground bait purely depends on the time of the year, the clarity of the water, how good I think the fishing's going to be. I could have fed ground bait here today because it's only 2 foot deep. To me, that's the thing that decides it. Any deeper than that and the ground bait will disperse over such an area that your fish will be spread over an area, so it's defeating the object of what you're trying to do. Today I've decided to fish micro pellets. I've fed them quite aggressively today, putting in big pots because the fish have been responding to that rather than the kinder pot. Still not using big quantity. A bag of micros and 2 tins of corn has been more than enough for today. You've got to be a bit careful with micros that you don't feed too many. You want to feed the minimum amount you can to attract the fish, because although not as bad as ground bait, a big carp will come in your peg and it will waft them over a larger area. So that's one of the most important things really, is to feed just enough to attract the fish, but not too much to overfeed them. One interesting thing on fishing corn, which I'm adamant 100% catches me more fish, is I always bury the hook in the corn. I hate to have any hook showing. I find with corn, any hook showing, you wait longer for your bait. All I do, it's like how you hook a caster really. I literally go in through the top of the grain and then turn it round the hook so my whole hook is buried in the corn. The one problem with that is if you strike and miss a bite, the hook will pull through the corn and normally end up like that. I can't fish like that. I have to come back in and rehook it. But I'm convinced coming back in, rehooking it and going back out still gets you a bite quicker than sitting there with your hook showing. as you've seen, I've just had this cracking ghostie, probably getting on for £10. You'll notice when I netted it, I scooped it quite quickly. The thing with fish of that size is they're never going to just lay on the top and you be pulled over a stationary landing net handle. You have to try and learn to scoop the fish. You need the right equipment to do that. You can't just do it with any landing net handle or landing net. I'm using the new 4 metre Coarse power handle. I say it's 4 metre, I'm not using it at 4 metres. It comes with 2 threaded sections. I've removed the first threaded sections, but that stiffens it up even more. It's incredibly stiff. There's fish in here to £20, so you need a stiff, strong handle if you're going to try scooping them. Because of the size of the fish, I've opted for the larger side of the Matrix Carp landing net. Lovely wide mesh, helps you push through the water quicker and glide through the water, so there's less resistance and you can scoop quicker. Nice rigid frame as well helps that. So the proper landing net and landing net handle setup will aid you so much. Well, we've had a lovely few hours fishing here at Cross Drove this afternoon, and as you can see, with the right gear and the right equipment, you can get quality fish out of even the most snaggy swim. Let's get back.